Hey there folks, today I'd like to take a casual peek into the Mortal Kombat Johnny Cage action figure set by Jazwares. This set was first available around 2011 I believe, and sold primarily at Toys R Us. And I can't remember too sure when I purchased this set. I think it was 2011, because I do recall purchasing it around the time it did come out. And I did purchase it at Toys R Us and paid about $17 for this set. Taking a look at Johnny Cage in the packaging, you can see the Mortal Kombat fighter here, and I'm guessing that this is the Mortal Kombat 9 version of the character. From what I read, that most of the figures in the series are from that version of the game. And you can see that the figure comes with a pair of extra hands as accessories. And also behind the figure you can see the nice card art, which is pretty cool, of the Mortal Kombat logo. It's very nicely done. And here you can see a sticker that says over 15 points of articulation for the figure, which is nice. Here we have the back of the package with a nice artwork of the Mortal Kombat fighter there. And we have a description of Johnny Cage there. And below that we have two other characters from the game that are in figure form from Mortal Kombat 9, I'm guessing. We have Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Now we'll be right back and have Johnny Cage out of the package. Okay, we have Johnny Cage out of the package, and despite the several flaws this figure has, I like this figure quite a bit. I have a fun time playing around and posing this figure. But before we get into the Johnny Cage figure, let's go ahead and take a look at the two items that are included with the figure, and that's a pair of extra hands, and they are open palms. And you can see the palms here. It's actually quite nice, nicely sculpted. Unfortunately, I cannot use these hands at the current time, because when I attempted to pull these hands out of the wrist sockets, I actually broke the hinge pin on this closed fist. Fortunately, the edge of this end of the pin broke off, and I was still able to push the pin back into place, and the hand here is actually usable. And I don't plan to ever use these hands, because I fear that I will break the pins on these hands to the point where I can't even use them. So I'll unfortunately never use these hands, but you can see some of the details of the hand here. The open palm, it's bandaged. It's supposed to go along with the bandaged forearms of the figure on there. And it's a hinged joint with a ball joint at the end of that post there. And if I could successfully pull these hands out of the arms, you'd be able to use them, but I'm not able to use them on there. Now, taking a look at the Johnny Cage figure, it's actually pretty cool. I like it. It's got a decent sculpt to the figure. And let me just turn that down one more. And it's got a little bit of detail on here. And starting out with the head sculpt, you can see Johnny Cage here wearing his shades, which is pretty cool. And he's got the brown, I guess, swept back hair there, and you can actually see some sculpting detail on the hair there. It's actually quite nice. I think the head is a little bit smaller compared to the rest of the body, but not too small. But maybe it's the upper torso is a little bit too big. I don't know. Maybe that might be it. But still a pretty good head sculpt on there. And the paint, though, is not it's not excellent. on the face. It's a little bit different than what's on the torso, and it looks a bit chalky on the paint application on the face. But it's decent. It's not outstanding or anything like that. Looking down at the rest of the figure here, you can see the torso here with the Johnny tattoo across his chest there. It's decently applied. There's a little bit of bleed here right below the O area and the H. But overall, it's a nice application there. And you can see he's a very buff figure there. Very large upper torso. Nice detailed sculpt there on the back. And over here we have the arms, and one of the few flaws I see with this figure, you'll notice that the bicep area is very short in relation to the arm, and the forearm is longer overall, and which is very interesting on here. It's the same thing with the legs, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But when you have the arm bent in a pose there, it's okay depending on the angle. But when the arm is straightened, you can actually see where the bicep is actually cut off there, and the elbow joint is taking the place of where the bicep should be. But it's okay. It's more typical of Jazwares type of design. But you can also see here on the arm, the forearm, the bandages that wrap around, which is sculpted on there. It's not just painted on there, but it is sculpted and it's raised a little bit, which is very interesting. Moving down here, you can see the cage, I guess design, a metal-like design. It's painted gold with a black backwash there. Pretty cool. And then wrapping around the torso is supposed to be some sort of cloth type, I don't know, wrapping going around his waist. So, but the paint on here is pretty decent, and you can actually read the word cage there. It's actually alright, not too bad. And down here you can see he's wearing his pants and his leggings, and you can see more sculpt along the legs. This blue pattern here, it's raised a little bit in these rectangles going along both sides of the leg there. And you can see that he also wears paddings below the knee with the same blue paint there, and this is sculpted, which is very nice, and it has even painted silver on here on the edges. I don't know what those might be, studs on there, but it's actually nice that they actually painted those. That's pretty cool. And for footwear, he wears a pair of sneakers, which is rather basic. You can see the blue paint on the stripes on the sides of the shoes. The laces are sculpted and painted on there, so it's actually quite decent. And it's rather flat on the bottom of the feet, and you got labeling going on there. So, but overall, it's a decent figure for sculpt wise and paint wise, and more typical of the Jazwares type of sculpt. I really have not too many complaints about it. Lots of folks do. I believe it's very subpar, but I think it's okay and not too bad. Going over articulation for Johnny Cage, the head can go all the way around and can go barely up and down on there. And the arms do go all the way around at the shoulders, and they do go out and in. There is no bicep articulation, but there is elbow articulation, allows the arm to bend upwards and downwards, as well as go all the way around at the elbow. The hands are on a swivel hinge joint, so the hands can go all the way around at the wrist, as well as in and out on there. The torso has a swivel here, allows the upper torso to swivel around the lower torso, and you can also bend it up and down slightly, as well as side to side slightly. And if you have the torso turned, there's more side to side movement of the upper torso there. There is no waist articulation on here. And moving down here at the hips, it's a hinged swivel joint. Allows the leg to go up, down, and slightly to the back, as well as out to the side and all the way around at the hip here. And the joints on the legs are a little loose on there, so you have to be aware of that. And the legs can go all the way around at the thigh, and the knees do bend down and up, as well as all the way around. And the feet can bend downwards and upwards, as well as all the way around. And if you have the foot turned a little bit, there is sort of an ankle pivot. That's really due more to the hinge joint when you have the foot turned. Overall, it's an alright figure. I enjoy it quite a bit. I just have a lot of fun posing this guy, despite the flaws and the design of the bicep here. And I forgot that to mention that the upper leg here is a lot longer than the lower leg, just due to the knee joint there. But despite those smaller issues, I have a lot of fun playing around and posing Johnny Cage. I enjoy it quite a bit. But this is my casual peek into the Mortal Kombat Johnny Cage action figure. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.